Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a really deep dive into a concept that might actually fundamentally change how you view your everyday life. We are exploring the profound philosophy of asteya. Now you might hear that ancient word and think, oh, that's just a traditional term for not robbing a bank or shoplifting, right? But as we're about to see, it goes so much deeper than basic stealing. It's really a conceptual journey that's going to challenge our modern habits, our hidden thoughts, and even our egos. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, I want to start us off by asking a slightly provocative question, and I want you to answer honestly in your own head right now. Have you committed a theft today? Now, your immediate reaction is probably, no way. Of course not. I haven't stolen anything. But hold on to that thought for a second, because by the time we finish this explainer, we're going to completely challenge your basic understanding of what stealing actually means.
To really wrap our heads around this, we've got to look at the philosophical roots from our source text. Imagine truth as the ultimate absolute goal. It stands completely alone. But here's the thing. Truth is incredibly difficult for us as finite human beings to fully grasp in its entirety. Because we can only ever know it partially, we have to rely on practical moral vows to help navigate us there. Nonviolence, or ahimsa, is the primary means or tool to achieve that truth, but it absolutely requires other foundational vows to truly work. And that brings us right to asteya, the vow of non-stealing. Now, the crucial point here is that while no ordinary burglar or pickpocket really believes they're following the path of ultimate truth, almost all of us, and yes, I mean you and me, commit subtle forms of theft, either knowingly or completely unknowingly. Asteya encompasses far, far more than just sneaking into someone's house and taking their property without permission.
This starkly contrasts your typical burglar with our everyday, completely normal habits. Think about unconventional physical theft. Have you ever been a parent secretly eating a child's treat so they don't see you and ask for some? I know it sounds funny, but think about it. Or maybe at work or in a shared space, taking a piece of jaggery from the common supplies just because it's sitting there. Taking something secretly, even if you think it's communal or belongs to your family, without total transparency, is technically a breach of this vow.
Let's push this even further. What if you find something that supposedly belongs to no one? Well, believe it or not, according to the text, keeping an unowned item is still theft. If you find something near the ashram, or let's just say lying on the street, you aren't the rightful owner. It rightfully belongs to the state, the king, or the local administrator. It actually must be handed over to the proper authorities. Keeping it simply because no one is looking is a subtle yet really profound form of stealing. And this builds into something I think we all struggle with, the mechanics of excess. This part really shifted my perspective. Step 1, you have complete permission to take an item. Step 2, you have absolutely no actual physical need for it. And step 3, you take it anyway. Even if someone says, hey, yes, take this extra fruit, if your body does not physically need that food right now, taking it is a form of theft. We constantly take more than we strictly need, especially when it comes to food and material goods.
Listen to this quote. Most of the poverty in this world is created due to the breach of asteya. Just let that heavy realization sink in for a moment. Our personal overaccumulation, our habit of taking just a little bit more than we need simply because we can, isn't just a personal failing. The text argues it is directly linked to global misery and poverty. The wealth and resources we unnecessarily hoard are resources actively deprived from someone who desperately needs them.
Moving on to our next section, the unseen crime, mental theft. So take a look in the mirror for a second and reflect on your own hidden desires. Mental theft is defined as coveting another's property, casting a false, greedy eye on an object, or even daydreaming about future possessions. When an elder or a child looks at a beautiful, expensive object and secretly longs for it in their heart, the theft has actually already occurred in the mind. When we build castles in the air about the wealth we want to accumulate tomorrow, our mind is stealing. Today it's just a thought, sure, but tomorrow that thought will lead to bad actions to try and acquire it.
There's actually a really interesting paradox here when it comes to fasting. The text clearly states that thinking of food during a physical fast is also considered theft. Think about that. If you physically fast, denying your body food for religious or health reasons, but you sit there mentally savoring the thought of a meal while watching others eat, you are committing a mental theft. You break both your physical fast and your vow of non-stealing because you are eagerly consuming the food in your mind.
Which brings us to our final section, the theft of ideas, intellectual stealing. So stealing doesn't just stop at physical objects or hidden desires, it extends deeply into the realm of human intellect. We define intellectual theft here as claiming someone else's original idea or invention as your own out of pure ego.
It's stealing a thought, an innovation. And the source text points out that throughout history, many great scholars, leaders, and brilliant minds have fallen into this exact trap. They see something brilliant, and their ego demands the credit for it. And let's be honest with ourselves, it still happens constantly in our modern world, in workplaces and academic institutions every single day.
The text grounds this with a really fascinating historical anecdote. Imagine traveling to the Andhra region and seeing a unique, innovative charka, a spinning wheel. You observe exactly how it works, you return to your own local ashram or town, build an exact replica, and then you start claiming it as your own original invention. That is blatant intellectual theft. Your ego leads you to claim another person's hard work and ingenuity as your own, which is, at its core, fundamentally untruthful.
So, what does it actually take to embrace a true lifestyle of asteya? Well, it boils down to 4 major pillars: extreme humility, deep thoughtfulness, constant caution, and profound simplicity. It means living highly aware of your actions, your thoughts, and your ego. A true practitioner of this philosophy must deliberately and progressively reduce their daily needs. It's an ongoing, conscious effort to simplify life so you literally stop taking from the world's limited pool.
Which brings us to one final, lingering question I want to leave you with today. Which unnecessary need will you reduce today? I'm directly challenging you right now. Don't just let this be an interesting explainer you listened to and then forgot about. Turn this profound, ancient philosophy into immediate, personal action. Stop the excess. Simplify your mind, simplify your life. Let's make the world just a little bit fairer today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.